Hi everybody, welcome back to Penguin Week on Keeper Corner. My name is JoHanna and I am back here in the penguin exhibit with, of course, all of our Humboldt penguins. Last time I talked to you about all sorts of penguin facts, but today I wanted to focus more on the amazing adaptations that these birds have to spend so much of their lives underwater. I talked a little bit last time about how penguins are really good swimmers. They have really strong wing flippers instead of helping them fly, help them swim in the water. They have very insulating feathers, but really they have so many other adaptations because they spend so much of their lives underwater hunting for food, which is fish. The first adaptation I want to talk to you about today is their eyes. So if you take a close look at their eyes, they've got little cute brown eyes, but there's something very special about them. When we go underwater and spend a lot of time swimming, if we open our eyes underwater, our eyes get kind of irritated after a while, right? So we like to wear goggles a lot of times if we're gonna go swimming. Well, penguins don't have goggles that they can put on, but luckily they have built-in goggles. Penguins actually have 3 eyelids. Just like us, they have the 2 eyelids, the top and bottom ones that we use when we blink our eyes. But they have a 3rd one that comes in from the side, kind of like a windshield wiper, and that's called a nictitating membrane. But don't worry if you can't pronounce that word because I can't even pronounce it half the time. But that 3rd eyelid basically acts like their goggles, so it's clear and it wipes over their eyes to help keep them clean and protect them. And sometimes, if you look really closely, when they blink their eyes, they actually do it with that 3rd eyelid. So sometimes you can see it flicking very quickly over that eyeball. It's kind of hard to see because it is clear, but when they're underwater, that eyelid is over their eyes all the time. So it's acting like their goggles and keeping stuff in the water out of their eyes so it doesn't irritate them and make them itchy. And that allows them to still see very clearly all of those fish swimming around underwater. Being birds that swim in the ocean, they also have to deal with salt water. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty used to swimming in either fresh water or a swimming pool. Salt water to me tastes really weird, but these birds are used to it because they have a special adaptation to deal with it. When they eat their fish, when they catch it in the water and swallow it, they also swallow a lot of salt water, so they end up drinking a lot of salt. You and I drink fresh water because we don't have a good way to get rid of all that extra salt. But penguins have a way to deal with that. They actually have a gland. The big fancy term for it is the supraorbital gland, but it's located sort of at the top of their beak, kind of by their eyes. And what that does is when they drink all of that salt water, it takes the salt and it just gets rid of a bunch of it. So that way their body doesn't have to deal with all of the salt. It doesn't make it totally fresh water, so it's not, kind of a magical gland that turns salt water into fresh water, but it deals with a lot of it, so their bodies are able to handle the salt that they do drink. Penguins, believe it or not, also have camouflage to help protect them from predators in the water. You'll notice they have the same color pattern as some other aquatic animals like orcas, where they're black on top and white underneath. That sort of coloring is their camouflage, because think about it. If you're standing on top of the water looking down, the water is really dark and it gets kind of hard to see. So when they're swimming underwater, their black backs help them hide from anything that's trying to see them from above the water. But say maybe there's a predator that's under the water that thinks a penguin looks like a tasty snack. Well, their white bellies help protect them too. Because if you ever look up at the sky, it looks really light. The clouds are really light, the sun shines down through the water, it's very bright. Those white, light-colored bellies help them blend in against the light background. And of course, they have a couple spots which, and the lines on their bellies, which help maybe break up their outline just a little bit, but they're also each individual. So they're kind of like fingerprints. I mentioned last time that's one way that we can tell these penguins apart. Oh, yeah, we got a lot to say this morning. Did you guys think that's what a penguin sounded like? Sounds pretty weird, right? Of course, penguins also have those strong, thick, webbed feet to help them swim. They do, of course, have those strong wing flippers. And And just like all birds do, they have a special oil gland. I kind of mentioned that they have an oil on their feathers, but I kind of glossed over it last time. Well, penguins, just like most other birds, have a gland right at the base of their tail that provides the oil that they use to wipe on their feathers that makes those feathers waterproof. So when they preen, which is the process of a bird kind of taking care of its feathers, putting them all back in order and making them nice and oily, what they do is they actually turn around and they rub their beak on that gland that's right by their tail, and then they rub the oils that they have all over their beak all over the rest of their feathers. So sometimes you'll see them rubbing their beak along their wing flippers, sometimes you see them rubbing their beaks on their belly or kind of looks like in their armpit. They're just making sure that all of their feathers are nice and waterproof. But our penguins sure have a lot to say today. They are very happy to be outside and they cannot wait to see everybody back at the zoo. I hope you have enjoyed seeing them and hanging out, and I hope you enjoy, of course, Penguin Week. Thanks for joining us, and see you next time.